So as content creators, we've probably all had the challenge of hating the sound of our recorded voice. We go through life on a daily basis, having conversations and talking to other people. And then when it comes time to film something like a YouTube video and you get to the editing process, you're like, why does my voice sound so bad? So in this video, we're going to talk about why that could be and a few things that you could do to maybe just be a little bit more okay with the sound of your own voice. So the main reason why we think our voice sounds different is because it does sound different. When you're talking every day, you are hearing your voice not just through your ears, but mostly through your skull. You're actually hearing your voice come through your body. Whereas when you're listening to a recording of your voice, you're actually only hearing your voice using your ears. So basically, it's a whole different way of hearing, and one that you are on a daily basis not accustomed to. The same principle applies to why you don't like yourself in photographs. And that reason is because you go through your life looking at your reflection in a mirror, which is opposite of what you actually look like. So when you see yourself in a photo, sometimes you think you look a little different. The same is true for our voices. But the main thing to understand is that even if you don't like the sound of your voice, other people that hear your voice have no other frame of reference. So most likely, the sound of your voice sounds perfectly fine to them. In fact, in your videos, they probably don't even think twice about the sound of your voice. But as content creators, we're always striving to make better content, improve our skills, and make our next video just a little bit better than our last. And if you dislike the way your recorded voice sounds, there are a few things that you can do to maybe make it a little better. First, let's identify what you actually do not like about your own voice. If it has something to do with the way that you speak, that's something that you may actually be able to work on. So aside from having things like a speech impediment that might really need some vocal therapy, if you find that on camera you're mumbling or you're not having the same kind of clarity that you'd like to have, or if you're talking way too fast or if you're talking way too slowly, those are things that you can work on and practice to help you have better on-camera delivery. So the first thing I would recommend is to do some vocal and facial warm-ups. Vocal-wise, you can do anything from some light humming to tongue twisters to help you get your voice ready to have a long recording session. And you can also do something like a facial warm-up. Stretch and move the muscles in your mouth and lips and tongue to get them ready to form the sounds that you need to make to have clarity in your words. What you can do off camera is also to practice over-enunciation. And it might sound ridiculous at first and it might not sound even natural, but the idea is that when it comes time to actually shoot your video, you'll be able to dial that back just a little bit and have a much clearer and more articulate voice. The second thing you can do if you don't like the sound of your voice in your videos is to understand your audio recording equipment. All of our voices are different, and sometimes certain equipment like microphones work great for one individual, but they might not necessarily work great for you. And that's dependent on a number of factors, including things like how deep your voice is, how nasally it might be, the shape of your mouth and how you breathe when you talk, as well as your ability to properly use the equipment that you have at hand. So here's a real-world example. I typically do not like wearing lavalier mics because when I clip something like this right here on my shirt, because I have a deeper voice, a lot of those frequencies resonate and emanate from my chest, which means that when I wear a lav, because the pickup pattern is omnidirectional, it's picking up a lot of those lower bass frequencies. And oftentimes my particular voice sounds a little bit muddy or lacks clarity. If you have a higher pitched voice, you might not have this problem. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to move this microphone off my chest and boom it right above my head. Now, I haven't changed any of my audio levels or settings either on my camera or on the transmitter and receiver. I've simply moved the microphone off my body and just above my head, just about the same distance from my mouth. And now you should be able to hear how different my voice sounds when it's not directly picking up all of the bass frequencies off my body, but instead picking up more of the higher frequencies that are emanating from my mouth. So having a good understanding of your equipment, how to use it, and what might be good for you specifically can really go a long way in improving the sound quality of your voice. And then on the editing side, there are a few things that you could do to maybe sweeten up the sound of your voice in post. One of those is to notch out any annoying frequencies that happen to be in your particular voice. So because these videos are geared toward the everyday creator by an everyday creator, you might not have an extensive knowledge in audio post-production. And that's okay, because this simple EQ trick will help you tremendously when it comes to helping you take away some of those harsher frequencies that might be in your voice. So what we're going to do is to use our EQ and do a simple sweep of frequencies while listening to a piece of recorded material. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. So the trick here is to take a narrow band and scan left and right the different frequencies as you listen to your recorded clip. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. You should be able to easily identify which frequencies in your voice don't sound so great. It'll most likely sound something like this. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox. Then, making note of those frequencies, you can notch those down by like 6 dB, and that small change could really have a nice effect on your finished product. Now, disclaimer, when it comes to EQ, if you do not have extensive training, I typically suggest that you remove or notch out frequencies as opposed to boosting frequencies, because it's really easy to EQ your voice in a kind of not natural way. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. And one of the strengths of YouTube is authenticity. So presenting yourself in a natural way oftentimes is the most impactful for your viewing audience. And that includes the sound of your specific voice. So hopefully this has helped you become okay with the way that you sound in your videos. And I'm always open to helping you on an individual basis. So if you have some issues with your recordings, drop a comment down below so I can find your channel, and I'm happy to take a listen and provide you with some pointers. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again real soon.